Okay, we are live.
Are we live?
Excellent. I am
Yay.
Chloe,
I'm Sandy.
and this is our day where we figure out what World Anvil is and how to do the summer camp for World Anvil. I am just slightly more knowledge than Sandy, and we closed that gap quite a bit yesterday in talking about it. So at this point, I think Sandy knows everything that I know, except she hasn't actually made an account yet. And we are going to jam a couple of sprints into this. We're in the middle of both camps. So we'll be doing a little bit of everything. I don't know if Sandy can stay the whole time, but
we'll see.
We'll see what we can do. So Sandy, do you want to go ahead and make an account?
Yes, and I guess I should share my screen.
Yes, that was what I was going to say would be the first step with it. So if y'all know World Anvil, if you're already on it, sweet, you'll have a good laugh out of us figuring out what we're doing. Oh, there's Sandy's covers. Look at how nice they are. That's 3 of 4. There is a fourth one, assuming it is tucked underneath.
That's actually the fourth one right there. I didn't mean to pull that up. That was but yeah, no,
right, you're missing it there. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It actually came out pretty good.
Together, that medallion still looks a little bit off, but it looks way better than it did, and I think it's totally fine as it is.
Yeah, I think it like matches. So that does work. Okay, but what did I just do that caused that to happen? Because I did not want that. That's the wrong way to go. Let me share a different screen. Here, we'll do this one instead, because then I can have the whole thing like popped up in front of me, and that will be better. All right, there you go. Now, World Anvil, right?
Yes. And I'm going to say, so we stay on track. Hey, Courtney. And hey, I'm going to say that's weird, Win. If I'm wrong, please let me know. We're going to, so to make sure that we get some sprints in, we'll probably do our first sprint in about 10 minutes here. But this is us figuring out World Anvil and also doing some sprints as we go.
Yeah. So, okay. So to just, I mean, we're assuming you guys are kind of like watching my screen here, but look, I'm pressing create your account at worldanvil.com. So you guys can
drop your share tab at the bottom. The hide button, the StreamYard share thing at the bottom of the screen.
Wait. Drop my what? So what's what?
At the bottom of your window where it says StreamYard is viewing your screen. Hide.
I didn't know I could do that. Wow. The whole world is open up to me. Okay. Question. With your username, does that determine how people like see you later on?
I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. I went with my pen name, which is the name you all know me by. Although I feel like most of you know my actual name as well. It is not an actual secret. I just use my pen name for most things for marketing purposes, right?
Okay, let's see here. It says, "Don't panic. We're here to help. Run wild."
I remember this screen. You know what? I think I signed up at like 2:00 in the morning because I couldn't sleep, and it was something that was like sitting in my brain. So I don't actually remember a lot of this process.
Okay, heroes, villains, terror from the deep. That's awesome. I'm gonna select heroes. I think I selected heroes. I clicked. Did it do a thing?
I don't know, but see what happens when you click next. Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, so yes. So you did in fact do something.
Wow. Okay, I'm definitely going with this version because I feel like if you do one of these, it makes you feel like a gamer, and I am sadly not a gamer. So
I do everything in dark mode because of my eyeballs, but like absolutely do you.
Whoa. Okay, so things that I want. World building. Yes. RPG character manager. Create your character. RPGs? I don't, but don't I want a character manager? I don't know. Like
I don't know.
If you're, I don't need.
I guess it doesn't hurt. I mean, as long as, also to see my stuff, you might need to enable the NSFW. I guess it doesn't hurt to have everything enabled, right?
I don't know. Like, does this mean?
Oh God. Rosalind says one of their usernames is Alpha Writer because of 2 a.m. Yeah, that is. I would assume that is for the actual like putting in all of the stats and everything. But I mean, worst case scenario, you don't
use it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I will have novel writing software available, but
it will not be, so you'll be using the free account.
The adult content, allow the display of content marked as not safe for adults. So does this mean like my whole page will be marked that way?
No.
It says I can always change it later.
You will be able to see content that is marked NSFW.
Yeah. Okay, choose my editor. I
think you just want the Euclid stable one.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Good grief.
You know enough HTML to do the very basic stuff. I and stuff like that.
Goodness. Okay, wait. So if you cannot think of something or you're not set a name, so I don't know. What's your world's name? So should this be like my series? I feel like it should be my series.
Oh, yeah. This was actually like a major sticking point for me because I don't have a world. Like mine is sci-fi. So, and it encompasses a lot of different areas. It's not like sci-fi on a particular planet. So I didn't have any sort of name for it. And it's multi-series, so I didn't even have a series name. So I agree with you just going with Mortal Inheritance.
So I have like a little website for my thing, and I'm about to go use this so that I can copy and paste things. I feel like
I agree. I feel like for you, a lot of this month, well, hopefully it'll be easier if you do it this way. You'll probably just be kind of transferring information you already have into a new database, and it will be like the kick in the butt to transfer it into the new database.
Yeah. Will you be using an RPG system? What's an RPG system?
No, role-playing games. This is Dungeons and Dragons. Anytime you see RPG, just ignore that spelling, that typo in the middle of that. Oh my God. It's fine, World Anvil. It's totally fine. Start typing its name. It's.
So I actually highlighted that because it said start typing or ignore this if you don't know or have no idea what RPGs are. So even if you have no idea, you can click nothing. Save and proceed.
For people with no experience in RPGs, if you just plug in Dungeons and Dragons for that, you are pretty much there. Dungeons and Dragons is an RPG.
Okay, so apparently you can get an annual membership right now at 40% off. What's an annual membership even cost? Do we know?
Yes. It depends on what tier you're on, and the tier system, there is a lot going on with it. So I didn't do anything because I don't have a job right now. And I was like, I'm sure this sale will come along again if I really want to use this other stuff. And some of it looks really good, but I don't know if I'm actually going to use it. Some things you pick up and you just ultimately, it never works with you. So I said, I'm going to wait and see how much I really like it. And when the next sale comes around, I'm going to reevaluate.
Whoa, wait. Okay, so I'm looking at the pricing here. I can't get to Family Trees without like having a membership. That's like a major thing.
No. You need a membership for Family Trees.
I need a diplomatic relations web.
You probably do. Yes, that would probably be really beneficial to you.
Okay, but also
it is 58. On sale. That 58 ends up being, I think, like $30. 35, something like that.
That doesn't suck.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But probably after the first year, it does go back up to that $58. It's $34.80 today.
I might actually do that. Okay, but you know what? I think you guys that we should consider. Wait, do we need to get to a prompt? What do we need to do to get to?
They're like 2 days a month without sales, so they are constantly running sales. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for letting us know. So yeah, there is a whole area on this where you can fill in the very basics of your world. Which obviously for Sandy, we are not going to be doing that right now because like we have other stuff to do. But okay, so Sandy, do we want to do a sprint right now so you can like go through that little bit of stuff and then we will get to the summer camp?
Yeah, we definitely want to do that.
So oh my gosh, I had like a prompt on mine that took me to the like, I don't remember if it was called metadata or what.
Should we share your screen then? Where's your prompt? Where do you find these prompts?
Because that right there, that world, I'm pointing and I'm not even in the right direction and it doesn't matter. That world meta to the right-hand side, focus your world building, 0% complete.
Got it.
Yes. So if you want to do that during this sprint, and we'll do like a 15, is that good for you?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is those prompts, like where would we find those if anybody wants to?
We will do that when we get back. For me, it's sitting right on the top of the dashboard, but you're still like kind of buried in your world. So let's go ahead and put a timer up. I should have thought about this before.
Do you want to do that, or do you just want to focus my world building or something? Well, no, you're right. Nobody needs to watch all that.
I want everybody to get sprints in because I'm sure a bunch of these people are doing Camp Nano right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure that the people are actually getting the work in that they need to get in.
I agree.
Okay. So I'm going to use my classic timer, which is set for like the wrong stuff right now, but that's okay. We'll fix that in a minute. But so we're going to do a 15-minute sprint. And then when we come back, if y'all haven't seen the World Anvil Summer Camp first batch of prompts, we are about to reveal those prompts. So we're kind of also doing that thing.
Yay.
We will see you guys at, it looks like we'll see you guys at 1:30.
Okay.
Okay, that is time. And Sandy, how is your metadata going? Right? This is called metadata. That was how they named it.
Yeah, and like the metadata section is long.
It is. Yeah, you haven't gotten very far at all.
No, because it's asking me questions like, oh my gosh, wait, what just happened? It's asking me questions like, what are the recurring themes which reinforce the genre, tone, and feel of the world? That if that's not a prompt, then that's like, I mean, I probably have this written in like multiple places, just like, wow.
There were quite a few that I skipped. So like, first of all, I find this really funny because again, this is supposed to be for both like writing novels and also for RPGs. I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like this started more as an RPG tool. And I had no idea that was something that even like themes even existed in RPGs. Oh, I am sorry. I'm really bad about like shrieking when I come back from sprints. I don't mean to be this way. I just am bad with projection. But yeah, so I ended up having to skip a bunch of these because so I'm building a verse that covers a lot of different stuff. My short stories take place in this, and they are just short erotic pieces. And then I've got my Vela project takes place in this world. And then these other novels that I'm doing take place in this world, but they all take place in different parts. Right. So like the Vela project for mine takes place in deep space. Like the first half of it takes place entirely on spaceships. And then I've got my book series takes place entirely on a space station. And then my short stories take place on a planet, basically. I feel like I described it as being a man-made planet, but it's still a planet. So some of these things just didn't work for me, and that's okay.
So, okay, crazily, almost everything here is something I have answered. Like I have this. I have
that
I have all of this.
I was thinking was going to happen for you.
Yeah, but that's like a problem, right? Because I mean, this is enormous.
It is.
I just opened my Scrivener file on this. This is my Scrivener file. I have a whole wiki of my own that includes things like my own icons that I created for like history and politics because I'm that person, right? Like I was cool with the Scrivener version, but now that I know there's this.
Right.
But wait, so okay, if I just click view world, like it's like my stuff is saved, right? So what happens? What can I do this? Can I click view world?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I really haven't poked around that much because again, like middle of the night and trying to wrap up everything else. But there you go.
Oh my God, this is so much better than the website that I was creating. I can't even.
So we have some more info from somebody who knows more than we do. I can't stress enough that I just found out, like I've heard World Hammer or World Anvil before, but I didn't know, I'd never looked into it until Monday, I think it was. But apparently World Anvil was originally to help RPG fantasy gamers create more developed and interesting worlds. They're slowly growing into more general writing novels and other genres. I'm moving my head around because my camera is like right in the middle.
Sorry, and I'm just looking because I can't even.
No, do you? But thank you so much for sharing that.
What just happened here? Is this an ad?
That's an ad. Yeah. If you pay for it, you don't get ads anymore. So let's go ahead. Oh, you are at dashboard. Okay, so we're going to go into the actual summer camp stuff now. And as far as I could tell from what I read, we don't have to sign up or anything. We're just going to go to a screen where there are prompts, and we're going to pick which prompts we do. As far as I understand it, based on what they did in previous years, what we're going to see is 10 prompts. And we have 10 days to complete each of those prompts. And then we'll get the next batch of 10 and the final batch of 10. But Sandy, for you, since we're already on your screen anyways, I feel like if you just click at World Anvil at the top of the screen and go back to their main page, you'll have a link there for summer camp.
There's also one down here at the bottom.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So do I have to just click join summer camp?
I would say so.
Okay, let's join
I don't know at this point. At this point, we're in stuff I have not seen before. Oh, this does look like, never mind. I say that, but like I have absolutely been to this screen.
Okay, cool. So during summer camp, we challenge you with 31 world building prompts. All right. So what are the rules? Oh my God, what are the rules? We should read the rules.
Oh, so you can glance at these really quickly, but the basic for it is that we have to have it done in the time frame that we are given. The article must be 300 words. It must be set to public, and it must be published as opposed to a draft. And then for the rest of these, I'm going to say that these are like just basic, like don't be a dick and remember like actual legal stuff.
And these are literally only like 300 words, or at least 300.
I mean, we can go as long as we want, but all you have to put in is 300 words. So it's also something easy. When I thought about doing this and I saw that 300 words, I was like, I can absolutely, like I can write 300 words in 15 minutes if I'm just shooting off the cuff, which I would be.
and question, like, is this a contest? What are we
I mean, it is, I feel like it is a contest in the sense that NaNoWriMo is a contest. Although I feel like there is some like other random award thing.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Where do I find the prompts?
Okay, so I believe, there was...
Whoa.
My screen looks different from yours. If you scroll down to the bottom, does that take you to it?
I think if I
that's it right there. That's it right there.
Okay, cool. This is a whole thing. Yeah. All right. So, but it has to be written after 2021, meaning that like you couldn't ever have thought about it before, or like just the writing is new.
The writing has to be new. So if you are, I am assuming what they mean by this is if you are somebody who is not just starting World Anvil absolutely brand new today, you cannot use an article that you already have on World Anvil. Yeah. So I said that this was going to be revealing the prompts for the next 10 days. The prompts for the next 10 days are a building associated with healing the sick, a medical condition. What?
I have that. Okay. I'm doing it. I'm ready. Sorry. We should
wait until we go through all of them.
Okay.
And yes, Lufkin says writing is new, and Weirdwind says you're not copy pasting. So just type it in. And then, okay, so we have a building associated with healing the sick, a hospital, or whatever you have that is similar to a hospital. And then we've got a medical condition, which is feared by some. We have a new medical breakthrough treatment. No, I read that wrong. A new medical cure, treatment, or breakthrough. So this is medical heavy, which is kind of nice. It's not something that you necessarily think so much until you're actually having to write it.
This was built for me. This was built for me. I have a virus in mind. This was made for me. We need to start this immediately. I need to work on this immediately.
We have a species of working animal. We have an ethnicity whose cultural exports are highly sought after. I am currently having a laugh about that because, Sandy, you know the premise of my world and what the cultural export is highly sought after.
It was also written for you.
An extraordinary writing tool or type of writing tool. All writing tools are extraordinary, right? Because we're writers. We've got an area or geographical landmark wrapped in myth, legend, or superstition. We have a myth about a mountain, lake, cave, or other landmark. These two are going to be where it's challenging for me because I'm in space. And then a myth or fairy tale about a prophecy, oracle, fortune telling, or other revelation. And finally, but because everything takes place in space, this one works for me. A festival associated with a celestial body.
I literally have thought about all of these things and do not have articles written about all of this. Is perfect. Let's start it. Let's do the thing.
We are going to do we're going to go ahead and start this. So we're going to do another sprint here. But Alberto Foxy 1991. Can I do some question for both kindly? I don't know what you mean by that, but we'll find out. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get this sprint going. And then I guess Sandy just surprised me with what when you're doing. We'll surprise each other with which prompts we are doing. Okay. Okay. So, Lufkin, you came in a little late. So if you are new to this, really quickly, and then we will jump back to this. World Anvil, you are developing a single world in it. I believe you can develop multiple worlds, but like it wouldn't have to be what you are already working on if you are, looking to develop a new world. You could be starting from scratch. Sandy and I are both using worlds that we have already started, but if you are new to World Anvil, then you can either tie it into something you're already working on, or you can build a whole new world. Yeah. Okay. So timer up. Do we want to do 15 again?
Yes.
Okay. We are doing 15 minutes. We have this on the clock, and Sandy and I are both going to fill in one of these. I don't know what I'm doing yet. It looks like Sandy does, though, but we'll find out in 15 minutes. Okay, so that is time. And I don't know about you, Sandy, but that caused more questions than answers for me.
So it didn't cause, I don't know exactly if I would say that, but because we're world building, right? Like, which is kind of one of the longer parts of writing, I feel like it required a lot of Googling. Like I picked the building prompt, and like the medical building, and I have a medical center in my like world that I've actually never described, so it's kind of perfect, right? Like I have a thing I've named but never actually described, so perfect for the prompt, right? But then like, so I had to think through, so like what style of architecture would this building be, and like how would you even enter the building? And like that's as far as I got. I'm at like walking down a gently sloping ramp into a covered security bay, like, which means I haven't even entered the damn hospital. And I don't know. I mean, that's 61 words, which is really slow for like 15 minutes.
Where are you getting your word count?
I'm not. I just had to copy and paste what I got into a Scrivener file, which I think is a limitation to this, right? Like, they want you to do 300 words, but there's no word count thing. I mean, or at least I don't see one. Do you?
That is one of my questions. And I guess, like, I am assuming that the thing here is that usually, like in general times, this is not something where they do word counts for, so it doesn't matter. But so just accept that this happened. I just copy pasted it into something else where I could get a word count, and mine ended up being 389 words. But I don't see. Oh, I guess maybe do I just do the save changes? Because I actually did pretty much finish it. It's not formatted. It doesn't look pretty, and I don't know. I don't know how much that matters for this. I feel like once I get
what did I just do?
Deeper into World Anvil, I will care more about this. But for now, I just typed it out, and like I don't know how this would look if somebody else was looking at it. But I did. I guess I have to figure out where the settings are in order to get this working. Also, did you click that? You did.
Did I click what? This?
Oh, so that show templates,
what is
specific
this?
prompts and connections. So here's another thing is that I'm wondering if if you like fill this stuff in, if it goes toward that 300 word count or not. Also, I did I did one of the medical ones. I wish it said on the screen which one exactly that I had chosen, but it doesn't. So there are a couple of issues with it, but I think it was the medical breakthrough one. And my prompts in the show template specific prompts and connections, mine are all large blocks, like that purpose block.
Yeah.
And they are discovery, access / availability, complexity, utility, manufacturing, inventor, and parent technologies. So there's
a lot.
Yeah, there is so much here. I could see somebody who's not good. I could see somebody like and this is absolutely not to call someone out because she already knows she has this issue, but I could see somebody like Natalia completely screwing themselves up using this because you spend all day building the world and never actually writing the world.
Yeah, like I have to admit, like this, so what I'm thinking to myself right now is, so I'm going to spend like a couple hours here getting to know this, which is cool and it's fun and I needed a stress relief for the day, but I'm not working on my Vela project and I'm not actually writing my story, right? So like,
yeah,
I mean, it could take me literally, a week to write out the Gandhi Medical Center description, which I think would be great if I were doing RPG type stuff, right? Like, I mean, if I'm building a game, then awesome. You need all of this detail. But if you're writing a novel, part of the point of the novel, is that, you know, you give just enough to make the reader, you know, continue the rest on their own, right? Yeah. So does everybody that it reads my story, do they need to know exactly how to enter the hospital, register, and to check in, and when it was built, and when like that second edition was built, and who built it, and like why the architectural style changed from, you know, 50 years later? Like, I don't know. I think that's...
So I feel like this is something where, first of all, you don't use every single thing that's there.
Yeah.
You use what you need to. I feel like probably some people do have this urge to fill in every single box, but like, if you don't need to use that box, don't fill it in. And as a writers, unless you are using this as like a Patreon or a Kickstarter, like something that you are actually giving to other people for like some financial benefit of your own, that you are really just filling it in as you need it, as a reminder to yourself for how all of these work, so that for you, when at some point your characters go to the Gandhi Medical Facility, you know where everything is, so that they're doing the right thing. So I feel like, depending on how you are, like for me, the best way that's going to be for me to use it outside of summer camp is just as I add details to things as I am writing them, to then add these details into World Anvil.
You know, actually, as you're talking, one thing I'm thinking is if I were, so I'm probably not going to use this at all, because like it's going to be a waste of time for me, right? Like, I'm never going to do a Patreon. I already have a website set up that was quite complicated. Like, I can throw myself into stuff obsessively like any fantasy writer can, and it's not good, and that's time not spent writing, right? But if the World Anvil people wanted to attract somebody like me, like if they wanted a fantasy writer who needed to like kind of get down to business, I would need them to give me a like simplified version. Like, I would need a writer version, and the writer version would have to have like a lot of this just blacked out. Like, I don't need 80 content sections. I don't want them to tell me that I need to tell them what style of architecture was used in the building. I just need one blank box. And
well, like, that's it. My counter to this, though, is that like, you love doing all of this stuff in Scrivener, and I fucking hate doing this stuff in Scrivener. And this works better for me, because if you ask these things and they pop into my brain, I'm like, oh, this is actually like something good that I should think about. Or I say, well, I don't need to talk about the discovery of this, or I've already written the discovery of this, so I don't need that. This isn't something that's manufactured, so I don't need that. But the access availability is important for it. So let me go ahead and put notes for that in.
Well, and I mean, I'm not saying that this isn't a really appealing program for organization, because like, compared to creating your own frickin', you know, Scrivener file with all of these things, where like, you're saying to yourself, what do I need to know about the history and politics of my fantasy world, right? Like, I mean, I think about all these same things, but like, and it takes time to organize yourself. But again, like, doing this, my like ridiculous Scrivener file, which is so large that it can take like 5 minutes to load.
That sounds like Scrivener, yeah.
And this isn't even my novel, you guys. This is just world building. Like, there are no manuscripts in this thing. So yes, absolutely, it'd be cool to organize here, but like, this was probably a gigantic waste of time for me. Like, I shouldn't have done this. I should have been filling this in, you know, as I was writing the actual world. And so I think the problem is that like, this really would give you, like, I think the reason I'd like to have like a simplified version or like a pantsing version is like, I feel like you could get so easily sucked into this. Like, I would really like for them to have like a button that said like, hide everything unnecessary.
I mean, I feel like when you get into the paid versions, they do have. Well, okay, so here's the other thing, though, is that if you go to View World and you're actually using this from a view perspective, does it hide all of that?
I don't know. I mean, like, so this is all I have right now, and I presumably, like, my recent articles will hear, but here again, so like, I'm the kind of person who has this already, right? Like, I was the person who created my own freaking website so I could organize my own stuff, and so therefore I have stuff like my recent entries, and do you know what I mean? Like this is me on my own. Do I really want? Do I need to be enabled? Right? Like, is that a good thing? Because like these people are my people, you know, like they're clearly we're like this. We're kindred spirits. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this, you guys. I'd be really curious to like know, like anybody who's using this, you know, like are you finding that you're spending, like, is it actually helping you write? Like, are your novels better because of this? Are you more organized, and are you writing and publishing more, or, you know, were you doing better before?
So we do have some comments on Twitch.
We do.
Yeah. So Weirdwind said world building research for sci-fi series, 10 years and counting. World building for fantasy series, make it up as I go along. Yes, and like you are looking at two people. Ironically, it is in reverse for it. But one of us has been building our world for 10 years and counting, and one of us is making it up as we go along. It just happens to be that the sci-fi one is being made up as it goes along. Yeah. And the fantasy world has been 10 years and counting.
It has. Well, has it been 10 years, 14, 15? Like at least, a good 8 or so. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And yes, Lufkin, this was exactly what Sandy had done to get her word count, and then I kind of did the same thing. The type it up in another program and copy paste it. And I'm still trying to figure this out, but yeah, I'm assuming that you just do it that way. If you need that word count, I don't know. We're figuring it out as we go along. And Lefkin says, I'm so new. So with these prompts, we are not actually writing the world. You're just writing a certain element in that world. So it's, you know, and I feel like, again, I feel like this is probably, these specific prompts are probably going to work a little bit better if you do have a more developed world now that we are seeing what these prompts are, because they are so specific. So this is kind of encouraging me to write about things that like I already have, and I just haven't really written them out yet. So think of it as a resource a fan can use to learn more about the world of the novels. Yep.
See, that's the problem though, right? Because a fantasy writer loves this. You're like, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. My fans need to know the history of the politics of South Kepler, which is critical to my, like, you know, characters. I mean, they need to know that 800 years ago, that one republic fell because of this particular thing, because that's going to be relevant in book 8. Like that's how I think. And I feel like, so yes, totally. Like, it's a resource, but also like every time you do that, you're not writing your story. So I don't know. So World Anvil folks, if you ever see this video, like, I love you and your ideas. Please give me something that's a simplified version so that it doesn't drag me down. Like, right? Like, give me a real easy way to click on the things that are most important to me. And
now there's also the alternative. So they said, think of it as a resource a fan can use to learn more about the world of the novels, but also, and this is more my jam, 5 years from now on novel number 12 in the series, you can look at the article to see what notes you had before. And that's where stuff like this is really helpful to me if I'm going to be building everything in the same world. And there's also, I feel like, so between me and Sandy, there was a big difference here because, and this is not at all to call Sandy out. She already knows what she did, but Sandy wrote not even 100 words, and I wrote almost 400 words.
Yeah.
Because I just dropped it all in there. And if I need to, I can add more to it. But like, I just basically put in the story about why I've got this bond blocker, that all of the hybrid aliens in my story are. Oh, Sandy like did a screen thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a thing. I'm sorry. Sorry.
We'll just flip over to this. For me, it's absolutely somewhere that I can dump things in. And actually, this is something that I've been having an issue with because most of the resources out there don't work really well for me for some reason or another. I've had the best luck with Wavemaker, but with a Wavemaker, I can't do the dual screen that you can with Scrivener. So this might be a good alternative for me because I can just have both windows open at the same time.
Yeah, I will say, so like, I think I'm going to have to look into this for if there's a private version, because like, I also don't know if I want all of this out there. Like if I'm organizing my novel and I'm not really sure I want to like go down that road of like everything should be for my fans.
So yes,
but I think it's a paid version.
In order to participate in summer camp, the articles that you are writing for summer camp need to be public, which means that everything else can be private. And if you do summer camp, I'm assuming once it's over, you can turn them all to private.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's not a good program for me, right? I might actually do the prompts, but like not do the like not submit them because I don't have an audience that's gonna go find my stuff anyway. But I think that's, I mean, it is an interesting resource, like for organization. But okay, so here's another question: can you export everything? Like, what happens if World Anvil dies? Because right now what you're doing is you're putting a lot of work onto a website, so I'm assuming there's an export option. If there's not, then this is a terrible thing for a novelist.
I would assume so because everything has one now. But okay, yes.
Does it?
Yeah, according to Weirdwin, there are export functions, and I'm sure yes, as of September 30th, 2018, there was world exporting. Also, they say, I have seen World Anvil be helpful for people in their writing, but I've also seen it get in the way and slow people down as they participate in contests or fiddle with CSS for the article presentation. And that's exactly that was my concern with it. I know it's not something that I have an issue with, but tons of authors have this issue, and I feel like it is a problem with fantasy, but there's, it's really hard to find that happy medium, because if you are doing something, especially fantasy, and to a lesser degree, sci-fi, you really do have to have your world built, but you have to get that good balance. So I feel like it's all in like what your discipline is. And it's, if you use it right, you're probably okay. Just the same thing as if you're using it for an RPG, right? Like you don't want to spend, I always compare stuff like this to scrapbooking. There is a point where you get so into scrapbooking that you're not actually living your life anymore. You're just scrapbooking somebody else's life because you've run out of time to actually do those things that are worth scrapbooking.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yep. So they say I'd use a wiki on my own website if I want information public. Otherwise, keep notes on Scrivener. And yes, that is absolutely
what I do.
All of these resources that are out there are things that, your mileage will vary on. And yes, Lufkin, I would say 100% this is more geared toward fantasy writers. And that's coming from like just the very small step that really is sci-fi. Sci-fi really isn't, I mean, they cross constantly. And sci-fi like takes place in the future, but fantasy takes place outside of time. If I was actually doing sci-fi on a planet with various alien species, it would basically be fantasy, right? But like that small difference actually makes this more difficult for me to do this as a sci-fi writer versus if I was a fantasy writer.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, like, I think even for stuff like, I don't know, like I'm looking right now for like, how would you export any of this? And I don't see it easily. So like,
this blog from 2018 says it's in the world configuration page.
The settings of your world?
Is that
world? Export world. Got it.
Yeah.
Save the page once it's open to keep a local copy.
So this is another good thing. Weird One has a friend that's using it for a shared sci-fi setting. And I do know that there are some people who are doing it for that, for like where they have a world. The one that like crossed my mind when I first heard about it, and people using it for this, was the Dragonlance series, or even if you are more familiar with it, like that Star Wars has novels, and there are many people who write in it. Obviously, for Star Wars, there are massive wikis. They wouldn't need something like this. But if you are writing a shared world, then it would be great for that, because you would have a really well-organized resource for everybody to dump information into.
Yeah. This is very interesting. I really want to see like how this goes. Like I really want to see if this is a big thing, because I have, man, if I like,
this has been around for a while now.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's legit. I mean, obviously it's a real thing, but I don't know how I feel about this. This is really weird for me, because it's so seriously like decked out for a Sandy. Like it's like somebody was like, what would this one writer who can get totally caught up in this like world building thing, like what would she want? Like what questions should we ask her about her? What would she, what like cool map building features would she need? Because I mean, like, I've spent literally like weeks like learning software to build freaking maps, or like
So I feel like what has happened with Sandy. There is a fairly well-known thing in marketing where there is an optimal amount of colors that you should offer a product in. And if you go too far in one direction or the other, if you don't offer enough colors, or if you offer too many colors, you will drive people away, because they go into the shops thinking that they want that product to be in pink, but then they are given too many shades of pink, and they're like, you know what, actually, I don't, these are, yeah. And like, I would have been totally happy to buy this shade of pink, but then I saw the second shade of pink, and I was like, actually, what I want is that shade of pink, and none of this is that, so I guess never mind. Whereas you would have been totally happy to just have that one shade of pink. And I have a feeling this is what has happened to Sandy.
Yeah, like if they
that there's too much, and now she is scared off by it.
Yeah, well, I'm scared of what I could do with it. Like I just, in fact, I probably have time for like one more sprint here. I'm gonna close this, because I don't have time to mess with this. I have to do stuff I can get paid for faster. And this is not it.
Oh, that's so sweet. It was originally a
so
tool made by a software developer for his other spouse. I love that. That's the other thing, is I feel like a lot of these things are developed with a specific person in mind, and then just basically out of the goodness of their hearts, and then like eventually to make a profit, potentially, depending on what it is, then they end up sharing it with the world. And you even have stuff like Y-Writer, which is completely free, and it's clearly just someone who really likes writing and said, you know what, I made the software for myself and now I will share it with you and like do what you want with it. But I just made it because I enjoy doing this myself. So it is still being developed, and they are involved in the product and site.
And you know what? Kudos to these people for developing this, because let's face it, the truth is most fantasy writers never actually manage to make a profit off of their writing because they spend so much time building their worlds. So hell, somebody should make a profit off of that.
Yes.
I mean, that's amazing, an amazing product. It turns your writing, it could make your writing real easy into a hobby instead of a
right. And just if you are not like, you have to be the right person for it to work for you.
Yeah, you have to be super disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay,
or
let's
have
do
like enough fans out there that they will actually buy this product of yours, whether it's through a Patreon or whatever. And then it is like it's reasonable to spend a lot of time on it, because if you are making the money you need that way, then great.
Then awesome. Yeah.
Let's do this next sprint though. Okay, so it is 4:24. We just did a little bit of sprinting today, but that's okay. So we'll see you guys at 4:39. Okay, Sandy's back.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the crisis was averted. So, I had like an interesting little extra battle with this thing to just like, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to share my screen now. And let's see, let me get this because it's on the other computer and we will do entire screen. Okay. So, for mine, and now I have that box. There we go. So for mine, this is what I have now. Bond block is what I was working on. That is my entry. So because I've saved it, it is sitting here. I actually had a bunch of weird issues with actually getting it to register as being complete because it turns out that like when you save it and all of that, it still doesn't register to the competition. There was actually a little sidebar button that was like living over here that I had to click for it that was not readily obvious until I scrolled through like 850 times. I know where it is now, but there was like an extra little box that I had to click. But when you go back to the site, once you do it, you still get this exact same screen. Like you have not filled in any of your prompts. In order to see what you did, you actually have to do... Oh. We're not talking about that. You have to go to check your progress and then it shows it. But the other thing is this going to go? Nope. So this is the edit screen. Mine just is a different color because I had it set differently. And again, that save button was like here. There was a big box that I think I had to save it a couple of times and then that box appeared. I don't know. Anyways, how it actually looks when it's done, because I know that was part of the conversation. We have all of these boxes that are we compelled to fill them in. Mm-hmm. The actual article looks like this. So this was what I wrote in the primary box. And these were 2 of the probably 6 different additional boxes that I had. Mm-hmm. So it does not keep all of that blank space on there. And this is how it is organized. So I feel like if you are looking at it from the viewer perspective, it makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And look, it is really pretty. Like, but I also like, I can't figure out where to find the like prompt button.
What do you mean?
Like the thing that says like, yes, this is part of the prompt competition thing.
Oh, yeah, that was something that no, yours isn't 300 words.
So does it have to become 300 words to?
It has to be 300 words to be used for the competition. It did say in the description of the competition.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, does a button pop up once it's 300 words?
Oh, that I don't know because I didn't notice the button until I had fought it for a while. I'll know it tomorrow when I try to do the next prompt.
Well, let's see like what happens if I just like copy and paste for a couple minutes and does something pop up.
And when you do that, just so you know, I think you do need to do the save first, which is there are 2 buttons right here that for yours, I believe it's going to say whip and
yes,
save or something. So you have to do both of those and then I think you can submit it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just they said that you couldn't submit until it had met these 3 requirements. So I have a feeling that is what gets that box to appear.
And it won't let me put in just like random words either to like see. So that's very interesting.
What?
Like I can't just like copy and paste what I have like 10 times to see if it's even possible. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like I have to actually like write those words in there.
Well, so you do have to write in the box.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's a very interesting like fail safe, and it's not like I'm trying to cheat the system here. I just want to see the button.
Right, you're just experimenting with it.
Yeah, but I will say again, like this is another kind of like odd thing because like So that's really confusing. And like somebody could spend a really long time looking for a freaking button.
I have felt that about this. With the stuff that I had seen when I first looked at it as well, that like this is not intuitively organized. That being said, I mean, I just had to figure out how to use Affinity Publisher. And before that, I had to figure out how to use DaVinci Resolve. And nothing about either of them was intuitive. So I don't know if in the long haul, that is a problem that persists, or if you just get like the hang of it.
Oh, I'm sure you would, but like what you just said was like kind of key. You just had to figure out Affinity Publisher, right? You don't have to figure this out. This is optional. Affinity Publisher you actually needed in order to like.
But by that same token, I've never figured out Scrivener either, and you have, because you made that choice to figure out Scrivener.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't have to, right? So like it was it kind of back to like the sort of whole like, and I'm totally agreeing with Widerin, Worduin?
Weird one, excuse me.
Weird one. God, my whole like I'm totally, I am in serious agreement on this. I completely agree. And also this, like, I think it would be much easier for a new project, because with an old project, you're thinking, oh, I've already got this. Oh, I've already got that. Oh, I already have this. But then it's like, but where do I have it? Like, what do I need to go and find on things I have previously done so that I can redo the process on Word Anvil, because this is just so cool. Yeah. Like, I will say,
this is absolutely the problem that we're talking about all along with this, not just with the, like, trying to fill in every single box, but as Weird One themselves had said earlier, that people absolutely like lose themselves in the CSS and stuff like that. That like, this is absolutely where it goes wrong. But at that same token, like, you do that if you're developing a website or a wiki as well.
Well, totally true. Which again is although, I mean, I suppose the benefit to Scrivener or a wiki or a website that you don't have here is ideally you pick one you already know, right? So like, I mean, you don't have to relearn everything because you don't need to. And I say that from the perspective of somebody who totally has learned stuff websites for the sake of this. But yes, yes. This is it. This is it. This is the thing.
It can be, absolutely. 100% it can be.
Yeah.
Or it can be your way to say, well, I was going to develop a website or a wiki, but this already has all of the structure built into it, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, true. I mean, like, I'm looking at this and thinking I could literally like just drop like a whole website and put everything here, and assuming that this program never stops, right? Assuming that like this thing is available for the next, for however long I want that novel to exist.
Right.
And assuming that anybody who ever wants to look at my stuff is able to go and do it on World Anvil. Like, so this must mean that your sites are, like, there must be a way to sign in and look at pages without signing in.
I mean, I feel like assuming that everything is public, then you just have a link that you give to people.
Right. So if it's just a link, then that's much easier, you know, like, so that's great. If like this is a good way to create a website basically without actually having a website, then that's kind of awesome.
I don't, again, like, I haven't gotten deep enough into it to really know how it works, but like, I don't know if there are levels of privacy or, there is a subscription option that I believe is how it links to things like Patreon, so that people who are subscribed to your Patreon gets that extra access to it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's another thing that I don't know how well you can really do that with a website. So again, it is also like, are you trying to market this? If so, this might be, are you trying to market your actual data, and if you are, then this is a way to do it, as opposed to trying to figure out how to like put a paywall on a website.
Yeah, and I think it is also worth noting that you cannot make your thing here private unless you're paying, right? So like,
yes, I just noticed that as well.
Yeah, so if you either have to delete your whole site, right, and have to keep it private, or you have to pay their like yearly fee. I don't know how I feel about that.
Like if you just changed your name and the name of your world, who's gonna find it anyway?
I know, but
do we want to do one more sprint and then call it a day?
I gotta go. Okay. My amazing mother's helper is going to be gone at 5, so I must sign off. But I hope that you guys all stay on. And
I was about to call it a day anyways.
Oh,
it was just gonna be one more if you had time. So I believe that is everything for us today.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah. But I am hoping tomorrow to be on at 10 a.m. Eastern on both the Twitch and the YouTube. That is my goal. I don't have anything scheduled because I've been terrible at scheduling things, but that is my plan. Hopefully getting a lot of screen time this month with it being NaNoWriMo, and we will not be getting distracted by World Anvil tomorrow. So lots of writing sprints.
Awesome. Good luck with writing, everybody, today.
Yes. Yeah, thank you guys for joining and participating in this weird little foray we did into World Anvil to decide if this was the thing for us or not.
Yeah.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.